Sawadee ka! Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So today I have yet another dish that is worthy of the Hot Thai label. Yes, we are making Hot Thai Tuna. So I love canned tuna. It's such a humble, versatile, accessible ingredient that anybody has, and it's great for a weeknight when you haven't thought much of anything to do. But today I'm going to take this humble tuna and turn it into something incredibly flavorful that is bursting with Thai flavors. I mean, this thing is so flavorful that a little goes a long way. I've been eating it pretty much almost every day this week. Just tossed with jasmine rice. It's great on congee. Put it in an omelette. So versatile. Lasts a long time in your fridge. I mean, this is Hot Thai Tuna right here. Let's get started. So this dish is actually inspired by a southern Thai dish called cuokling, which I have a recipe I'll link to below. So the first thing we're going to make is a curry paste that is a southern style curry paste, which is easy to do if you already have red curry paste, store-bought, homemade, adding a few ingredients and make it southern. First one being black pepper. Yes, most of the time in Thai cuisine we use white pepper, but in the South, black pepper comes up a lot more. So we're going to grind that down. If you have a grinder, you can use a grinder. Good. Okay, so now once it's nice and fine, I'm gonna add the other iconically southern Thai ingredient, and that is turmeric. So you can use dry powder turmeric for this, but if you have fresh, even better. One tip about turmeric, you don't have to peel it. If you're gonna grind it up into a paste, just wash it really well and then just slice it up. You won't notice any difference at all. So you wanna grind that down into a paste as well. Turmeric just smells healthy. You smell this and you're like, this is going to be good for me. Okay, and then I'm going to add extra shrimp paste because in the South they also like to use a lot of shrimp paste, fermented shrimp paste. You don't have to, but because I'm adding shrimp paste, I'm not going to need to add any more fish sauce in the recipe. If you're not going to do shrimp paste, you might need to add some more fish sauce later on. I'm just going to pound to mix. Oh, I never showed you what this looks like. There you go. You wanted a nice paste, and I'm just gonna mix the shrimp paste in. And then that's it. Now in goes my red curry paste. There we go. And just mix. And that is it. Shortcut southern curry paste. We're almost ready to cook, but I want to show you how I slice this other important ingredient. That's makrut. Lime leaves, going to add that nice citrusy freshness. If you don't have it, not a big deal, but I recommend adding it if you have some. And I just want to show you how I slice it because it's really important to get this fine because these are really tough. And if you don't get it fine, it'll be in your teeth everywhere. It's not comfortable. So roll it up. You can half them if you'd like. If there are big stems, I didn't see any big stems on here, but sometimes this stem in the middle is quite thick. So you just pull that off. But if it's a thin stem, then it's not a big deal. Roll it back up, and then as finely as you can, you want to slice it. You cannot go too fine, but you can go too coarse. Like, I'm actually not very good at this. There are people who get it much finer than me, but I get it enough that it's not uncomfortable. So the knife should be against your knuckle at all times. You should be just really having to push to get the knife moving, and that's how you get tiny, tiny, tiny movement. If the knife is not pushing against your knuckle, it's really easy to just get a big julienne. See? That's pretty good. Okay, let's get cooking. Before we move on, we need to talk about this pan. So this is a pan from Misen, who is our sponsor today. So Misen sells premium kitchen tools at affordable prices because they sell direct to consumers. Now, I've been using this pan for a little while, and so far, I love it. And I'm not just saying that because they're sponsoring the show. So the key to a good stainless steel skillet, there are two things: the weight and the material. This pan is a 5-ply pan. It is heavy. Like, you pick it up and this is a heavy pan, and that's going to help distribute heat evenly and also for heat to retain longer. Now, the material. The core of this is aluminum, which is an excellent heat conductor, but the exterior is stainless steel, which is durable and also retains heat longer. Now this is a 10-inch skillet, but most 10-inch skillets actually only have 8 inches of cooking surface, but Mise-en designed it so that it's 19% larger, which is super handy because overcrowding food is never a good thing. I've been making steaks on here, searing vegetables, and I can crank the heat to max and get really nice browning on it. It is dishwasher safe, oven safe up to 500 degrees, and yes, it works on induction. This thing is pretty much indestructible and it'll last you a lifetime. Mise-en costs less than half other premium brands, so it's a really good value for your money. And on top of that, they're offering a discount for my followers. So if you click the link in the description and use the code Pailin's Kitchen to get 20% off your first order. Again, the code is Pailin's Kitchen for 20% off your first order. I'm gonna start with sauteing the curry paste, and be a little bit generous with oil if your tuna was packed in water, because it's absolutely lean, right? Like there's nothing, no oil, no fat in anything. So if you don't put enough oil, it's gonna be a little dry. I need something to cook with, my goodness. Excuse me, I'm new here. So I wanna get that sauteing. Keep the heat sort of low, medium low at this point because curry paste burns pretty quickly. Yeah, and there should be plenty of oil for the curry paste to swim in here. Okay, this is super easy. You've got your, oh, I need to add some palm sugar. Some palm sugar, you need that sweetness to balance out all the saltiness and the spiciness. And you want to add the palm sugar earlier so that it has time to dissolve. You can smell it already. The tuna goes in. So I've got 2 cans of tuna here. The only tip that I'm gonna give you with the tuna, make sure it's sustainably caught tuna. It's incredibly important. When tuna is not caught well, it's extremely destructive. So check the can. Now, most of the time at any grocery store, you can find cans of tuna that says sustainably caught, or some indication that they are responsible fishers. And no salt added. Oh yeah, that's the other very important thing. Because you want all the salt to come from either fish sauce, shrimp paste, or whatever salt is in the curry paste already. If the tuna itself is salty, you're really limited because this is flavorful. And now, all you have to do is cook this until it's dry. The end result that we're going for here is sort of like this dry, crumbly tuna mix that you can just toss with your rice. Again, topped with congee is one of my favorite ways to have it. And so you don't want this moist and wet and soggy. You want it to kind of split apart a little bit. Okay, so now that it smells so good. Whew, I smelled that too close. Spicy. Maybe don't put your face over the wok. Okay, now I'm going to add some freshness, some freshly sliced lemongrass, which you also want to slice thinly for the same reason as the lime leaves. And the lime leaves go in, and I'm going to just toss that briefly, and then it's pretty much done because you want those things fresh. Now, if you've never made this before, you need to taste this and add fish sauce to taste. My curry paste is already salty. I added shrimp paste, so this, I know I've made it a few times, is already where it needs to be. But if it's your first time, absolutely you need to taste it. And before we finish, because you guys are hardcore now, I am going to introduce you to the concept of luk dot. This is new. I've never done this before in Hot Thai Kitchen, but luk dot in Thai cuisine anyway, refers to whole or big chunks of chilies that you just throw into the dish. And it's sort of like landmines. And the idea is that you're adding them whole, so it's not gonna make the dish any spicier, but when you're sharing the dish with people, there's some people gonna want it more spicy. So some people are gonna wanna just eat those chilies. And yes, some Thai people actually eat a whole chili. And so the term for these whole landmines, chili landmines, are luk dot. So we're gonna add some of that in. I'm not gonna eat them, but it also looks a lot nicer. You can do bell peppers or whatever if you want. And that is it. How easy is that? It smells so Thai. I feel like anything with the lime leaves in it just instantly smells Thai. And again, this will last in the fridge for like, I think I had it for a couple of weeks and it was still good because there's lots of chilies in there, which is a preservative. It's quite salty, which also helps preserve things. So it's just a useful thing to have. Okay, enough plating, let's eat. I'm hungry. And as much as I was talking passionately about luk dot, I am not going to have any. It's just as a demo. Wow. You didn't know tuna could taste like that. It's everything that I think about when I think of Thai food. Fierce, bold flavors, a lot of heat, but also really aromatic. A touch of sweetness that we added, you can't barely tell, but it makes this well balanced. It's salty, which means this is something that you definitely want to be tossing with rice. It's like congee. I keep saying congee because it really is the best thing to put on congee. But you need something to mellow that out. That firm texture of the tuna is nice and chewy. And you know what? Just for you, I'm going to eat a luk dot and see how I do. Shall I do it? Okay, let's try a green one, okay?
Is that worse?
I don't know. I don't know if this is worse or better. And chilies, FYI, it's really hard to predict from batch to batch, even from plant to plant. Some of them are just spicy, some of them are just not. So fingers crossed that this isn't too much. Maybe I'll do half. Yeah, half seems like a safer way to go. That's more like 2/3, but that's okay. You know, I got lucky. It's not that bad. Don't get me wrong. It is spicy, but I think it could have been worse. But also, chilies have a flavor, especially green chilies have this sort of grassy flavor. And it really, if you can handle the heat, it really adds something, adds another dimension, another flavor to the dish. So if you can handle it, I think it's not a bad addition. In fact, I'm going to take one more bite and then pass out afterwards. Still good though. Still good. Wow. So the recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. Hold on. Let me start that.
You're gonna try a red one? Try a red one?
No, we're not trying the red one. It's like it's coming on. It's slow, but it's building. So let's get this over with. Hey. The recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com, and when you make it, post a photo on social media and tag me at Hot Thai Kitchen everywhere. A special thanks to our Patreon supporters who help make this show possible. And thank you, as always, for watching, and I will see you next time for your next hot and delicious Thai meal. Okay, let's get some more.